While the bulk of the blended learning that takes place in my class is direct instruction through instructional videos that I record beforehand and have my students watch during class in lieu of a live lecture, I do also make use of several digital tools to facilitate learning and assessment. One of the most valuable tools I use is the Google Classroom Assessment tool, which actually makes it really, really easy to go through student work quickly. Removing friction from going through student work means that I have more time and more headspace to provide more meaningful feedback on that work. But first of all, before talking about the blended tech at all, I want to really make the point that in order to give detailed, actionable feedback in a consistent and sustainable way, I think it's absolutely critical to give students a single task rather than lumping multiple tasks into a single lesson. It makes it so much easier for us to give targeted feedback on a single task if a student does something wrong, and it also makes it easier for the student to understand and interpret our feedback as well. There are excellent digital tools that let you give this kind of feedback. My school uses Google Classroom, so I use the assessment tool in Google Classroom, which lets me page through student work one submission at a time, and I can sort my students based on who has submitted the activity, so I don't have to see empty documents from students who haven't done the assignment yet. I like to leave private comments that the students can see on Google Classroom, or sometimes, because the assessment tool actually opens the document in the grading interface, I'll leave comments or track changes inside the document itself, which is also a really cool thing to do to be even more specific with my feedback. I can assign a grade there, of course, as well, being that it's the assessment tool. And one of my favorite features of the Google Classroom assessment tool is its rubrics feature, which lets me build and then reuse rubrics that then appear as clickable menus inside the grading tool, which is actually really cool. It shows the criteria to the kids, and it just makes it very easy to grade. The last thing I'd say on digital tools is that these tools serve a really clear and consistent purpose in the blended workflow of my class. A big part of this is that I and my students feel like the comments I leave them actually help them to improve their work, which I think is one of the most important considerations in the world of blended learning. This is a major litmus test for me. There are lots of cool and snazzy technological options out there, but I want to make sure I'm conscientious that I know and that my students know what I'm using them in service of. I found these digital assessment tools to actually facilitate authentic feedback, which my students read and internalize, and in turn it helps them to improve their learning, so I continue to use them.